Welcome back to the Board Games 4K YouTube channel, and this is a channel where we give you reviews, playthroughs, unboxings, and we generally talk a load of bollocks about tabletop gaming in general. And in this video we're going to be talking about an expansion to the card game Everdell. We're going to be talking about Everdell Pearlbrook, and this expansion adds an aquatic themed sideboard, adds more cards, adds more stuff to the game. So in this video we're going to be giving you a very brief overview of what's in this box. We're going to be telling you what we do like, what we don't like, and then we will come back and we'll tell you whether or not Everdell Pearlbrook is worth shelling out for today and in the future. So remember, if you're new here, then please consider subscribing to this channel. Leave a comment in that section down below, and we'll see you after this. So, Everdell Pearlbrook. How'd you play this expansion? So the main thing about this expansion is it gives you a new sideboard, it gives you more cards, it gives you some wonders to place over the existing basic events. It introduces a new type of resource called pearls, and it also introduces the concept of adornments. So the way you set this up is you're going to grab the sideboard, you're going to put it in a relevant spot next to the main board that you've got in the core set, right? And what you do, you'll shuffle up the river cards and you will draw 2 river citizens and you'll draw 2 river locations. Shuffle those 4 cards together and then you will place them out onto the relevant spots on the sideboard. You'll chuck the new resource, the pearls, onto the relevant spot on the sideboard, and then what you do, you'll take the wonders and you will replace the existing events with the new wonder tiles. You'll also shuffle the new critter and construction cards with the existing deck. And then finally, you'll deal everybody 2 adornment cards that they can complete throughout the process of the game. So finally, the last thing you're going to do is everyone will get a Frog Ambassador token, and you'll be able to send the Frog Ambassador to the shoals to carry out certain actions. So when you send one of your Frog Ambassadors over to the river, you can go to one of the river destination cards, and you'll notice that in setup you put a pearl on each one of these cards, and if you go there first, you'll take the pearl and you'll flip over the river destination card, and if you can complete it, if you can fulfill its objectives, then you'll be able to do that. But if not, you'll have to leave it there and come back on another turn. So some of the river destination cards that you might come across are, you might come across the waterfall, which is a location, and it will tell you to pay 1 victory point and 1 twig to draw 2 cards and gain a pearl. Or you might come across the ballroom, in which case you'll pay 1 victory point and 1 resin to draw 3 cards and gain a pearl. Or you might come across the Great Hall, in which case you'll pay 1 victory point and 1 pebble to draw 4 cards and gain a pearl. So while you're at the river, you can also go to the shoal. So this allows you to discard 2 cards and any 2 resources of your choice to gain a pearl. So with the adornment cards, you can fulfill these at any time on your turn, but you can only do 1 per turn. You'll look at the criteria, and then if you can fulfill it, you'll trade in a card. You'll take the bonus that's at the bottom of the card. So some of the adornments that you might come across in the deck are, you might find the bell, and it costs 1 pearl. You'll gain 3 berries and also draw 1 card for every critter in your city. And at the end of the game, you'll get 1 victory point for every 2 critters in your city. You might end up with the key to the city, and this costs a pearl. You gain 2 resources of your choice. You'll also gain a card for every construction in your city. And at the end of the game, you'll get a victory point for every 2 constructions in your city. So yeah, these adornments can be quite useful. So one of the more major changes to this game is the addition of the wonders, and these replace the basic events that are at the bottom of the tree, right? So you'll take the relevant tile and you'll dump it over the top of the old event that was printed on the board. So these change things up quite considerably, because all of these need pearls and some need more pearls than others. So you might end up going to the Hope Watch Gate, in which case you'll pay 1 twig, 1 resin, 1 pebble and 2 pearls, and you'll discard 2 cards as well. And this will give you 10 victory points at the end of the game. You might end up with Starfall's Flame, in which case you'll pay 3 twigs, 3 resin, 3 pebbles and 3 pearls, and you'll discard 3 cards. And this will give you a whopping 25 victory points at the end of the game. I'm astounded. So there's also the addition of some solo rules in this game, where you'll be taking on a little rodent called Rugwort and you'll be doing certain things. But we haven't played these solo games, so we can't really tell you much about it, because we don't generally play solo games on this channel. But yeah, that's about it. That's basically what's in the box and how you play, how you incorporate Pearlbrook into the core game of Everdell. So what do we like about Everdell Pearlbrook? So the first thing that we like about Everdell Pearlbrook is obviously the addition of the sideboard. You know what I mean? It gives you more places to go. It increases the amount of options that you've got. And the addition of the pearls means that you've got that extra layer of complexity, but it doesn't really add to the mind-numbing nature of this game, you know what I mean? Because there's already a lot to think about when you're chaining them combos together. And the pearls, they add more options, but they don't add too much brain ache to the proceedings, you know what I mean? So the next thing that we really like about Everdell Pearlbrook is the way that the really feeble basic events have been replaced with these really mouth-wateringly juicy wonders that score you massive amounts of victory points at the end of the game. But they're really, really hard to get, so you've got to be careful. You've got to be thinking all the time, am I going to save up and go there? Or am I going to try and go for more of the easy to get victory points that come from like stacking cards together and all that sort of thing? So you might find that there's this sort of lull where nobody goes to these wonders, and then there's this mad dash, this mad scratch in the dirt to try and accumulate all these resources that these need. And the more lucrative they are, the more expensive they are. So it's this nice toss-up between, do you go in feet first and take the cheap one, or do you wait for the more lucrative one? And the fact is, if you wait that little bit too long, these things can be game changing. So by bumping up the amount of victory points you get for these events, all these wonders, it really does introduce another really nice choice in the game, you know what I mean? So the next thing that we like about this expansion to Everdell is the way that you get, I think it's 32 or 35 new cards, but there's not that many, so that they end up ruining the cards from the core expansion, you know what I mean? So you might come across the Harbour, which costs 3 twigs, 1 resin and 1 pebble. It's a production card, so it produces in the 2 seasons. It gives you 3 victory points at the end of the game, and it also says that if you have at least 2 pearls and you gain 2 resources, or you might end up with the ferry, in which case you can place your frog there and you can basically copy any river destination of your choice, right? So the extra cards that are included in the expansion, they do add more options, they add more variety, but they don't tread on the toes of the cards that are already in the base game. And that's really well thought out. It's really, really good, that is. So what don't we like about Everdell Pearlbrook? So the first thing that we don't like about Everdell Pearlbrook is that some of the river destination cards, some of these cards that you're going to be visiting, are a little bit lackluster. They're sort of like this sort of big fart that's been brewing in your belly. When you let it out, it ends up being a little squeak, right? When we played this the other day, okay, you get the pearl when you first go there, right? But when you flip the card over, it's like, oh, is that it? Well, that's no good. I'm not really interested in that. And I can't complete it anyway, so you're going to leave it there, and then you've got no choice but to come out, and if the turn order isn't in your favour, then you can't go back there, and someone else might just jump in, nick it from underneath your feet. So there's maybe a little bit of imbalance there. I don't know. And it just seems that these river destination cards, they're not all they cracked up to be, you know what I mean? So the next thing we don't like about Everdell Pearlbrook is that the sideboard sort of adds too much gumph to the actual core game, you know what I mean? We got sort of like a 5-foot gaming table, and we're sort of struggling already to find space for all this stuff. And what we're worried about mainly is when you get the other 2 expansions, I can't remember what they're called now, Spire Crest or something, or Belvedere, or something like that. When those 2 come out of retail, where are you going to put it all? You've got that big old tree and all. You're going to have to dump the tree, aren't you? But that's a real shame, because that's like a centerpiece of the board. Okay, it doesn't have any kind of mechanical use, but that's not the point. The whole point in that tree is that you want to oogle over it. It's a centerpiece. It's a showpiece. There's no point in blinging out your board game if you're not going to be able to use it. Do you sort of decide that you maybe don't want to use one of the expansions, or don't want to use 2 of the expansions? I don't know, but it just seems like the amount of table hog that is already present and what's coming later is a bit weird. So the final thing that we don't like about this expansion to Everdell is the price. I mean, this cost us like 35 quid, and there's just not enough content in this box to warrant the price. It's far too expensive. The cost of expansions now is gone through the roof. It's got this sort of stupid dumb insert in there. I mean, like, what's the point in increasing the cost of production to put in a dumb insert when all you're going to be doing is taking everything out of the expansion and dumping it in a core box, right? It's just stupid. It comes in this massive box, this big thick box. It probably added a quid or couple of quid to the cost of the expansion. They could have put it in a small box, but they didn't. They decided to go all out with the crazy cost. There's nothing in the box. All you've got is basically a sideboard, a few extra cards, and a couple of pearl things, and that's it. Really, is it worth the cost? I don't know. You have to decide that for yourself. I ain't got a clue. So to summarise, is Everdell Pearlbrook worth your time and effort today and in the future? It's a problematic one for us, you know what I mean? We do enjoy it. It really did add a lot to the core game. It expanded the options that you've got with the cards. It give you more places to go. In a 4-player game, when you're playing with a 4-player count, the base game did seem to be a little bit restricted, but this expansion fixes that by giving you more locations, giving you more opportunities to gather and spend resources, right? But the main downer about this expansion is the price and the amount of stuff that you get in the box. It's just not worth the money. It's like 35 quid. That's the cost of a full price core game, right? And the actual core game itself only cost us 40 quid. So there's a £5 disparity between this and that. And I don't know, the way you're going to have to decide is if you enjoy the base game and you can afford it, and this is obviously worth the money because you play the core game quite a bit. But if you're one of these gamers that's just going to buy the latest thing to chuck it on your shelf for a year, then it's not worth the money. It's too expensive. If it was say 20, 25 quid, we could justify that. But you know, in this day and age, 35 quid for what amounts to basically a sideboard, a few cards, and a fancy insert that you're not going to use, and a box that you're going to throw away. Don't know. It's just not worth the money. So we're going to give this maybe 3 out of 5, maybe for the content alone. But the fact is, the cost just bumps this down 2 notches to 3. If it was in a smaller box, if it was a little bit cheaper, then definitely this would be 5 stars. But we can't give it that. So yeah, that's it. That's Everdell Pearlbrook. So remember, if you're new here, then please consider subscribing to this channel. Leave a comment in that section down below. And if you made it this far, give us a thumbs up. And we'll see you next time.